You like fast cars?
Yeah!
Furious action?
Let's go.
Then I'm sure you're ready for the final Fast and Furious movie.
We hungry.
But it's been over 25 years since the series started. The first few movies are legally old enough to drive. So where to begin? Because the first film isn't actually the first movie in the timeline. You can't watch these films by release date. Plus, there's more than just the movies if you want the full story. So let's get started. First, you'd think to start on the Fast and the Furious.
Dude, I almost had you.
But that's not the case. Like I said, you can't just follow release dates. So this is where you'd really start.
This is Han, Virgil's cousin.
You ladies ready?
Better Luck Tomorrow, released in 2002, is a crime drama directed by Fast and Furious director Justin Lin. This is essentially Han's backstory before he goes off and eventually becomes a part of Dom's crew. While it's not officially a part of the timeline by Universal, it is considered canon by Justin Lin and Han's actor, Sung Kang. Considering the story is loosely based on the 1992 honor roll murder case, it would be fair why the studio doesn't want to include it.
As long as our grades were there, we were trusted.
But it is a good movie regardless and worth the watch. Now we're on to The Fast and the Furious, released in 2001. This is where we meet the more familiar faces of Brian, Dom, Mia, and Letty. There are a few street races here that are at least worth checking out, and race wars. Next, you'll want to continue with Brian's adventures with Too Fast, Too Furious, Turbocharged. It's a short film without speaking roles. The lesson to be learned: if you're handsome enough, random women would be willing to help you escape the police. And that brings us up to speed directly into the 2003 sequel, Too Fast, Too Furious. This film features the greatest line in the entire franchise. Now here we have another detour. Instead of the 2006 movie, Tokyo Drift, you'll want to skip to the fourth movie. But before then, we follow back up with Han in the short film, Los Bandoleros. This short bridges the gap setting up for the next movie. Fast and Furious. This 2009 film reunites Brian and Dom, but on opposite sides once more. This is also where the franchise stops being about the cars and more the heists and undercover missions. The next film is essentially the most important in the story, as events that happen here will drive everything else going forward. And that is the 2011 movie, Fast 5. Again, most of the events that transpire in the following movies will be a result of here. And now we have some additional tie-in materials. The live-action Michael Bay Transformers movies had several IDW comics that would explain deeper lore or plot points not explained in the films. And this is something similar, but instead of comics, we're going to gaming. Fast and Furious Showdown is a 2013 video game that details various missions between Dom and the crew have been up to between Fast 5 and the next movie.
Riley Hicks. I got orders to meet Agent Luke Hobbs in 24 hours.
Oh, then I'm your POC. I'm Monica Fuentes. You got my name right?
I don't know. Maybe. Sounds familiar.
The game wasn't very well received and it can be skipped as just a minor part of the story. Or you can always watch cutscenes and playthroughs instead. Now we reach the Fast and Furious 6, which released also the same year. But there is something very important I need to make explicitly clear. You'll get a massive spoiler if you watch the after-credits scene. So I'm telling you now, the moment the movie ends, skip to the next movie in this list. And that movie finally brings us to 2006's Fast and Furious, Tokyo Drift. Here we get a critical moment in the story that I won't go into, but there are plenty of flashy cars, drifting, and even a cameo from the Drift King himself. Not Takeshi, I mean Tsuchiya, the man that popularized drifting and inspired Initial D, one of the most influential series ever made and worth watching if you haven't. The end credits scene here will lead into the next movie, 2015's Furious 7. If you want to watch the sixth movie's end credits scene, now is the time to do so. Then you can start this film. This would be the last movie we see Brian O'Connor in. It serves as a send-off for the character. We'll get to that in time. We've come pretty far into the story and it's gotten a little crazy, so it'd be a good time to take a moment and leave a like on this video. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I'd truly appreciate any support, so thank you. Following up comes the 2017 movie, The Fate of the Furious. A lot happens here which will be more setup for future movies.
And now for something completely different.
Going from the movies, we turn to another bit of Fast and Furious side media that isn't the Universal ride. No, instead we turn to Netflix's Fast and Furious Spy Racers, a CG animated series starring Tony Toretto, another of Dom's cousins. He and his friends run missions from his nowhere over the course of 6 seasons spanning 52 episodes from 2019 to 2021. Yes, this is canon to the Fast and Furious timeline as Dom does make cameo appearances.
Looks like you pushed it a little too hard. Reminds me of someone else I know.
It spans over several years in universe at the same time of the next movie. However, the tie-in game, Rise of the Shifter, isn't considered canon to the overall narrative. And another intermission break, we cut back to the world of gaming with this thing. Yes, this game is in fact canon to the Fast and Furious storyline. It takes place between the 8th and 9th movies, but given its reputation, it's better to just watch the cutscenes.
It's just bad.
In any case, we cut back to the movies with 2019's Hobbs and Shaw, which when you watch it, you may notice some similarities to another event. It's really just two big-name stars having a self-fellating ego fest. We get to the 2021 movie, F9, where we see what happened to Dom and Mia's father, Jack Toretto. You could technically watch the first part of this movie before Better Luck Tomorrow, but the 2001 movie does a well enough job explaining the incident. Besides, you'd spoil yourself of a secret plot point that drives this movie's premise. Here's a fun fact. Did you know this movie unintentionally has the most tasteless car joke in the entire series? If you saw my short on it, then you're aware. Which leads into Fast 10, the 2023 movie which directly connects into Fast 5's story. Technically, this movie is a two-parter where the next and final movie is going to be the conclusion. Fun fact, did you know the title Fast X is actually a pun? Fast 10 your seatbelts? Riveting, I know. You'll notice a drastic shift from the street racing and stopping some gang or crime lord to international espionage. However, I'm not surprised. More and more people tend to care about the action sequences more than the cars that help carry these movies. Except the action has gotten so over the top that I wouldn't be surprised if Dom teamed up with Optimus Prime and they fought together in the final movie, with Lorenzo somehow tying it into Bayverse. But the last movie is also supposedly the conclusion to Brian's character, and it's supposed to bring things back down as a return to the street racing roots. So we'll see how that goes. As it stands now, the final movie is expected to release in spring of 2028. Now, I need to place a trigger warning for some of these movies. Any of the ones marked in red may have an adverse effect on your brain due to the sheer lunacy of the stunts performed. I know because I ended up in a coma after watching some of them. So be cautious when watching these movies. Here are some specific ways to watch if you prefer the Brian saga or the Han saga. If you want to focus on just the movies about street races, just watch the original 3. But otherwise, this is the complete list on how to watch the Fast and Furious, getting you ready for the concluding chapter. If you're interested in a proper chronological timeline order regardless of spoilers, then here's how to watch everything. I'd say it was after Tokyo Drift we lost the plot on the street racing. I wish I could have stopped after 7. But I'm here to document this franchise and will be continuing to review their driving abilities and analyzing how realistic these races are. If you've reached this point of the video, then I'd like to thank you for watching. We have a Discord to discuss more car topics or media, and a Patreon if you wish to support this channel. I'd appreciate if you could leave a like and comment which Fast and Furious movie is your favorite. If you watched the entire saga, are you sticking around to see how it all ends? And until next time, keep those engines roaring.